hot and sweaty gym today, Mayweather Boxing Club. I'm with Fareedsamad. Good to be back interviewing you. It's been a minute. Happy New Year. All the best with you and everything. So just to kind of start off, you had a fighter, a very great upcoming fighter who is on this pay-per-view card of Tim Tzysu and Sebastian Fundora this past weekend.
Yes.
Now he's 3-0. Give a grade of the kid's performance, Curmel Moton.
The commentators gave him so much applaud and praise, but his dad and I knows him well, so we are harder judges, you know what I'm saying, on him. So watching the fight, he did excellent. He did a lot of things. There were some things that we need to work on and polish up. So I'll give him a B minus, you know what I'm saying, C plus, high C, C plus, B minus. There's room to improve.
All right, and so obviously, like you're saying, a lot of hype behind this kid. How do you help keep this kid and help him stay humble?
His dad, that's his dad. That's Curtis Moton's man. His dad goes with him everywhere he goes. He's 17, he still can't even drive. So his dad goes with him everywhere, making sure that they stick together, works him out, talks to him all the time. His dad puts him in the right perspective, in the right place. So it's his dad.
And from my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong, this was his first fight televised, prime,
Yes.
Okay, and obviously, I saw it. It was on the free portion of the Amazon Prime card, so it was very good exposure for him.
First one ever, first Amazon card. He was the first one to be on there. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what was the crowd's reception like to that? Did it seem like people were pretty engaged by it?
Oh yeah, they've been knowing him. He's an 18-time national champ, so everybody's been knowing him for a while. So they wanted to see him fight. They wanted to see him, so they got a chance finally to see him. And he was supposed to fight last after the main event, but of course somebody fell out, and he wound up getting that slot. So he fought an 8-rounder. Third fight, 8-rounder. So he's doing stuff that Lomachenko's done. The only one I've seen do something like this.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive just when I saw that it was an 8-rounder, because you rarely ever see fighters at that stage of their career, especially a youngster like him who's not even 18 years old yet, fighting 8 rounds. Yes. And he was in with a pretty solid opponent who was undefeated and didn't come there to lay down. He came to fight.
Yes.
And he gave Moton some resistance, but obviously you could see the gap in talent there, definitely. But he was able to give Moton some rounds, and I think it was very beneficial.
Beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, I think it was beneficial to both fighters, and I think the other fighter showed he has potentially a pretty good future as well. And I think this is actually good when you see fighters willing to take chances, not afraid to lose, because sometimes if you lose a couple of fights but you're fighting a good fighter, it makes you a much stronger fighter. Makes you more durable, and you have things that you can kind of go back to the gym and work on instead of just fighting guys that you're going to roll over. So.
Yeah, I think he'll be better after this fight.
Thoughts on the card overall? Is there anything that kind of stuck out to you? Let's start from the main event.
The main event stuck out to me. Nothing stuck out to me but the main event. The main event, there was a lot of things that went wrong that later they'll look upon, but I think that the fight should have been stopped. Tim Tzysu, it should have been a no contest. It shouldn't have went past 4 rounds. It should have been a no contest because the headbutt wasn't deliberate. It happened, but it was a cut, and it was he was having blood just keeps coming down right to his left eye, so he's basically fighting with one eye. I think they should have stopped the fight.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. One thing I think people fail to kind of look on, I was listening to the commentary, is when you lose that amount of blood, not only is it getting in your eye, but it weakens you. You know?
Heck yeah. I actually sent Tim Tzysu a message yesterday. We talked a little bit via text, but I was like, man, you need to ask the doctors how much blood did you lose? Because I wanted to know. I was curious about it. Like, how much blood did he actually lose? Because he lost a lot of blood, and that get you weak. Maybe he could have been incoherent at times, stuff like that. But it was gushing out, and then the corner had something to do to it because it showed that his corner man failed because as far as the stopping the cuts, the cut man was horrible.
Yeah, it seemed like there was. It seemed like there was some incompetence, but at the same time, a cut of that nature in that area, I've actually had my head cracked open a couple of times on my head, and it is very severe. A lot of blood is coming out, and it's not that easy to stop as it appears, but obviously it seemed like
it got happened in the second round.
It seemed like he didn't have the proper materials,
so
the adrenaline.
They failed him. They failed him. Because it happened in the second round. He didn't stop it. It didn't even look like it was going to get stopped. So
and I think sometimes a corner is there to kind of protect the fighter from themselves. And I think Tim Tzysu is such a warrior. I mean, I give him a lot of credit. He wasn't going to stop that fight.
The doctor should have stopped it. It don't have to be the corner. The doctor should have stopped it. The referee should have stopped it. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I think so. In that sense, does it seem like he lost something in a loss, or was it kind of like a situation where he lost the fight, but I think to me he gained a lot of respect from boxing fans from fighting through that cut, although it was not necessary. How do you feel about that?
I mean, he gained a lot of like attaboys or honorable mentions, but still it's a loss. Like, he gained a lot of maybe some fans over. It's like, oh man, he's a real warrior, he's a real so and so. But then some people would say like, this corner is dumb as hell because they should have stopped it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you live to fight another day, and you got to be smart. Protect your. Not saying protect your but you got to protect your title. He lost his title. He goes back with nothing, and it should have been a no contest.
Okay, so we're discussing Tim Tzysu. Let's talk about the winner, Sebastian Fundora. What did you think of his performance? What was your assessment of it?
His assessment was he actually fought really smart, because I've never seen him fight like that before or box like that. He actually boxed, stayed on the outside more. He threw punches and just kept moving. He did not engage, because normally he engages and throws a lot of punches. So our hats off to the game plan that they set for him. So I had to give him credit for that.
Yeah, because normally he just goes in there and
fights
and just slugs it out, and he kind of gives up some of his physical advantages. If nobody knows, Fundora is 6'6" tall, but he fights like he's about 5'8".
Right.
Normally
he didn't give up his advantage this time. He definitely shocked me with that. Like, he could, like, when they always say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but he actually adjusted, because he's normally, you look at 20 of his fights or his last fights, they were all slugfest, and he came in. This one right here, he boxed, he moved, and he got to the decision. I really think that he did it. I didn't think he won, but hey, he got the decision. That's all that matters. So.
Yeah. And just to switch to the co-main thoughts, Isaac Cruz knockout of Rolly Romero. What was how did you view that fight? What was your thoughts?
I thought Rolly was doing well. Like, he got caught a couple times, but I thought that the game plan was pretty solid. I think that him moving over to Salas and leaving his other trainer Bullet, I think that it worked for him. But you're not going to change in one 8-week camp. You're not going to change. So he went back to his old ways. He boxed, he moved, he tapped, he kept it long. He was throwing single shots at Cruz, but then he got to a point where he just had his chin up in the air, and he tried to shoulder roll a little bit, and he got caught. So I think that if he stays with Salas, if he stays wanting to learn, he'll get better and he'll come back.
Yeah, just something I was seeing, I don't know if we kind of see eye to eye on this, is I noticed he was moving a lot, but he was almost moving too much. Instead of like kind of standing his ground and maybe moving side to side a little bit, instead of just kind of giving up so much ground where he wasn't able to counterpunch. He was kind of moving backwards in straight lines, putting himself on the ropes, putting himself in vulnerable positions.
Yeah, that's that's what he that's what he did before. So it's just kind of like.
So he was kind of reverting back to
what he knows. Yeah. What he's comfortable at. Yeah.
So I kind of didn't want to go too much into that, but Isaac Cruz, big win for him. Who would you like to see him fight? Just briefly. What's a good style matchup for him out of these champions at 140 pounds? Exciting fighter, by the way.
I don't even really know. I couldn't even say. I don't even. Oh well, no. I don't know. He called out everybody. But he didn't call out the kid from Puerto Rico. I forgot his name.
Subriel Matias?
Yeah, he didn't call him out.
Well, that would be a hell of a fight. I mean,
He didn't call him out. He knew the right thing to do.
That's like two trains crashing together. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, he didn't call him out, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? So he stayed out. He stayed home with that one. But I think he may be the one out of that group. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens.
I don't think anybody's gonna be. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I could see Devin Haney fighting him just because Cruz is not a difficult style to figure out. He's going to be coming forward. He can be right in front of you the whole time. Yeah. And if you have good legs and good boxing acumen, you could probably outbox him pretty easily.
Yeah.
If you're strong. I mean, you got to be strong.
He's 5'2", so it makes it hard. He's 5'2", and his defense is really, really good because it's so compact. So it's kind of hard for him to open up. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't know.
So I mean, it's definitely. He makes for a good fight, so I'll give him that much. So moving on from that, just briefly, let everybody know about you. Your career as a boxer, because you're a professional boxer before you became a trainer. How did you go from being a professional boxer and then becoming a trainer?
I think it all happened in the amateurs. So as an amateur, I was an amateur boxer in the Army, and when I grew up, or when we trained, we had to learn the science of the game. We just didn't get in there like the kids today. First thing they want to do is hit the mitts and work out and show that they're fast. We had to learn how to do everything. We had to learn how to put up a ring. We had to learn how to do everything. We had to learn how to hold mitts. We had to learn how to the boxing science of it. So that's what happened with me, is like we were in the 96 team and we were helping each other out, like hold the mitts. I held mitts for like Nate Jones, Antonio Tarver during boxing time. They hold the mitts for me. David Reed was like my partner, so we would learn different things and learn how to grow. So that's where it all started, in the amateurs. And then when I asked me being in the Army, boxing in the Army, and then I think I got hurt one year. I tore my muscles in my elbow, so they put me on the coaching staff. So I had to learn like the coaching part. I would help out doing that. So it was just like in me, to teach. Turned pro, fought pro, and then got to coaching, and here I am.
Anything notable about your professional career you want to add, or?
10-9 knockouts. It was hard for me to get fights because I was left-handed and I knocked a lot of people out. Notable. I went to camp with. I knew the reason I turned pro. I was an amateur in '96 Olympics, and they had asked me. I was southpaw. Somebody came up to me and asked me did I want to train with Wilfredo Rivera. He was fighting Pernell Whitaker. He fought the first time and they got to a draw. And they fought the second time, and they wanted me to go to Puerto Rico to train with him and work with him. They was like, oh, you're an amateur, so you're gonna spar like 4 rounds at the most, and you're gonna go last, so on and so. So I went and sparred him at the camp. So I went from last, then the second, then the first. Then we would like go head to head 8 rounds at a time. So, and I was kicking his butt. So after that, I was like, oh man, he was ranked number 1 in the world, fighting my idol. So I was like, oh, I know I could turn pro.
Word. So some time's passed since we talked last time, and there's some action that we didn't get some chance to discuss. Thoughts briefly. Fury versus Usyk is coming up. Give us your thoughts on that fight. Do you have a winner, or
I don't have a winner. Like Curmel's going for Usyk. I don't really have a winner because I don't know which Fury's coming to fight. Even though after he got elbowed and cut, he looks in immaculate shape. So he really geared up for it. And
so that elbow woke him up.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
then he looks really, really good. And then the thing about Usyk is he is a good boxer, heavyweight, but he can't take a stomach shot. Every time he gets hit in the stomach, he falls down or he keels over. So I'm thinking he kind of like Keith Thurman to me. Like Keith Thurman, every time he hits in the stomach, he shows the grimace of it.
So he's got glass ribs.
Right. So I'm thinking I'm going with Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury is going to get him.
And is you picking him by stoppage or decision or or you need a little bit more time on that?
Yeah,
maybe when the fight gets a little closer.
I need a little more time. A little more time.
And
I think Tyson Fury by late stoppage.
Okay, I think that's reasonable. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that one.
Yeah, I think he's going to use his weight against him. He's going to use his weight and push on him and use punching the inside. I'm going with Fury.
And speaking of that, one fight we didn't get to talk about because it's been a minute. So Francis Ngannou gave Tyson Fury a pretty tough fight.
Yes.
And
Fury
barely scraped by.
Yes.
Anthony Joshua just fought Ngannou, and I mean he just smoked him in 2 rounds. I mean, what was your thought? Like, was that unexpected to you, or did you expect him to kind of blow him out like that?
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it, but when I look back at it now, like hindsight, Mike Tyson wasn't training him in his camp. Because Mike Tyson had him the first time, and Dewey Cooper and Mike Tyson trained, but Mike Tyson was the guy who was like putting the plan and the motions together, and he really had his ear, and he was doing stuff that was right, and I didn't see that.
So just to clarify, the first fight, Dewey Cooper was kind of more dealing with his conditioning and training, but the strategy was Mike Tyson. Is that what you're saying?
I thought it was. I saw Mike Tyson talk to him and tell him different things, giving him the right sauce. And then this fight here, no disrespect to this Dewey, but when I saw this one here, it was like Dewey was training him. He needed something more. And then for the life of me, I didn't think Ngannou was going to get blown out. But then I saw him boxing, and then he turned southpaw in the first round. I just was like, it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, really? Yeah. Like, why would you turn southpaw? Like, that's a sign of confusion. I could see if he came out southpaw boxing, but it was like a sign of confusion. Boxing orthodox, then he turned southpaw, and then it just like he got knocked down, and then it was like, oh, really? Like, come on, flipping real. So I don't know, and I don't know the insider trading, like, did they design him to do it like that, or they told him, like, Dewey tell him, nah, not to do that, and he just did it on his own? Because fighters do it on. I had Danny Jacobs, and Danny Jacobs would turn southpaw for no reason at all. And, in one fight I admit to him, don't turn southpaw. Like, his last fight that he lost, he was beating a guy, John Ryder. I wasn't training, but he's beating John Ryder, fighting orthodox, looking good. And then for some reason, he comes out the 5th or 6th round, he turns southpaw, and he starts getting whipped. And I was just like, that was the dumbest thing ever. And I know it wasn't his corner telling him. I know that was actually him.
Yeah, and just like, instinct that they kind of have.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, it was, what I think, and this is something that I've heard people mention, so I don't want to necessarily give myself credit for thinking this, but this was obviously a thought that I've had as well, is the first fight going in when Fury fought Ngannou, nobody kind of knew what to expect, and this fight when Joshua fought Ngannou, he actually had something to look at. Do you think that was something that kind of had to do with how easy it was for Joshua to kind of get rid of him?
I think styles make fights, and then certain things. You know what I'm saying? I think Joshua has something to prove, so he just was like, I'm going back to like pressing forward, and because I thought he was lost, like mentally, and I thought he was lost. Because physically he's not lost. I just thought he was lost because when he fought the Joshua that fought Klitschko was a killer coming forward. Even he got hurt, he got dropped, he came forward, he stopped him. And then after that, he went to boxing, trying to outbox Usyk twice, which is the dumbest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? But he tried to outbox him. So then he got that. Then he had another fight with Derek James. He didn't look that good. But this one right here, he looked, the fight before that, in this fight, he looked like killer coming forward. Like, win, lose, or draw, this is what I'm going to do.
And so let's kind of switch it up, because this is kind of a big topic that's been going on for the last couple weeks in the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez, he's fighting Jaime Munguia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But we all know the fight that everybody wants to see is David Benavidez against Canelo.
Yes.
So the question I'm going to ask you
he's
is...
the number one ranked guy. He's supposed to be fighting him. Yeah.
So the question I'm going to ask you is, what do you feel Canelo's reluctance is to fight Benavidez? I don't want to say he's ducking him, but there seems to be some reluctance there. So what is the reluctance?
The risk versus the reward. That's his reluctant. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I've done all this. I've accomplished all this. You look at his resume. Benavidez, don't get me wrong, Benavidez is an up-and-coming young Thundercat. He's done things, but he hasn't done things nearly in the way as Canelo. And Canelo is like, the risk has to be worth the reward. Like, he wants $150 million. Like, Floyd has got a $100 million check when he fought Pacquiao. They waited years and ages later. He got $100 million, first one ever. And Pacquiao got $80 million, first one ever. So,
So is that number like a number he's just throwing out there? Or do you think that number is realistic? That somebody...
I think he can get it.
And who's actually going to pay for that $150 million?
Maybe Saudis.
Where is that going to come from?
Maybe Saudi. Maybe
right, okay.
Across the water.
Okay. If Canelo wins this fight against Munguia, and that's not a given, Munguia is a very good. He's a young fighter.
When he wins the fight against him, but go ahead.
Okay.
You say if, but yeah, when.
Well, I'm saying if. I mean, anything can happen in boxing.
Oh yes, as we saw last week.
Like we saw last week.
Yes.
And obviously, like we saw with Fury and Ngannou, where people weren't giving him any chance, and it was a fight that some people thought Ngannou won.
Yeah.
I obviously think Canelo's going to beat him, but if Canelo beats Munguia, where does he go? I mean, just say nobody's willing to pay him $150 million to fight Benavidez.
I think he should.
Who is there for him?
If he's
to
not
fight?
going to fight Benavidez, he should relinquish his titles, or at least the title. If Benavidez is the number one ranked middleweight in a super middleweight and once in WBC, and he doesn't get a chance to fight him this time, after Benavidez is going to fight light heavyweight, he's going to win, and then Canelo's going to fight. And if they can't make the matchup, I think they should strip him so Benavidez can fight for the title.
Okay, but just say the scenario happens where they don't strip him and he doesn't want to fight Benavidez. Is there a viable opponent that you think people will actually pay pay-per-view money to go see? But what's his,
I think they're gonna pay no matter what.
What's his plan B?
I think they're gonna pay no matter what.
Benavidez fight.
I think they're gonna pay no matter what.
But who would you like to see Canelo fight if he does not fight Benavidez?
The other kid, Morrell.
Well, we know he's not gonna fight him.
Yeah. Well, you asked me.
I mean,
you asked me. You asked me if he ain't gonna fight Benavidez, he fight Morrell. You know what I'm saying?
So, but what's a realistic fight that could be made that the fan that
no.
There's nothing there.
Zero. There's Benavidez or bust.
So his back is against the wall, is what you're saying.
Benavidez or bust, or relinquish his titles, or retire and say, "Hey, I'm not fighting no more, or I'm gonna relinquish my titles."
All right. So
or he moves up in weight and fight. He wins. He moves up in weight and fight light heavyweight. The winner out of Bivol versus.
I don't see it. If he won't fight Benavidez, you think he's gonna fight one of those guys?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So,
you asked me.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's the only excuse. If he says, I'm not going to fight Benavidez, I'm moving up to fight the winner out of the unified, because whoever wins that is the unified, is the undisputed light heavyweight champion. If he says, I'm going up to light heavyweight and I'm going to fight the winner out of those three,
I think that is a valid...
that's worth being paid for.
Well, I think that's a valid way to say, well, I'm not going to fight you because this is a bigger challenge. So I get that. That, to me, would seem the only direction he could go that the public would feel
right. That he didn't duck Benavidez.
Yeah. I'd agree with you 100% there. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that's the only direction he could really go and get respect from the public.
There you go.
So... moving on from that, back to you and your fighters. Earlier, I interviewed one of your fighters,
Jersey Vargas, yep, 19-year-old phenom. Yeah, he's very good too. 2-0, 2 knockouts.
And so just as far as the fighters that you're training now, anything coming up? What's next? What's next for some of these guys? Is
Man, you know what?
Fight scheduled or anything you want to talk about?
There's nothing scheduled. There is. We just fought last Saturday.
Okay.
As you saw, I don't know if you must have missed Curmel. He was in the gym today. That's our little thing. Mm-hmm. But we're ready to go. Curmel did 8 rounds. Got hit a couple times, but it was nothing to talk about. He can go.
So he's not going to be he's not going to be on this Canelo.
We don't know. We don't know. Like we don't have. I don't have nothing to say so over it. But I know Amazon thought he was the fighter of the night. Amazon thought he stole the show. He was the fighter of the night. So Amazon wants him back. They said they would love to have him. Mayweather Promotions is the ones in charge, as you can see up there. Leonard Ellaby. So May 4th, he was his first fight was September 30th, which was on Canelo card. So this May 4th card, probably he'll be on that card too. It's too early to say, but I'm thinking that he'll be on the card, and we'll be ready.
Let's see how much time I got. Okay. All right, one more question because I kind of got to run in a minute.
Get it.
And I know you got to run too. So, Haney versus Garcia. I want your thoughts on that. And there's been a lot of talk about Garcia's behavior coming into this fight.
Yeah.
Odd behavior. What are your thoughts on that? And then after that, your thoughts on who's going to win this fight?
So on his behavior, I have no thoughts. I don't even get into it. I don't have time. Like I have 6 fighters, so my time is limited. To looking on the internet, seeing what jokers going on.
And it's funny because the reason why I wanted to ask you is because I'm just like you. I don't follow social media a lot. Yeah. It's actually what's funny is my wife is on TikTok a lot.
Okay.
And she doesn't even really watch boxing. She's like, you know who this Ryan Garcia guy is?
Right.
And she showed me a video, and he was, it was bizarre.
Because he's a video phenom. Like, that's how he got his big contract. But, stylistically, styles make fights. Those two is a good matchup because they have fought 4 times before in amateurs. They're 2-2. Ryan Garcia has a good jab. He has a good left hook. Devin Haney has a good jab. He has a good overhand right. I think it makes good for boxing. I think it's going to be a good fight. I give Devin Haney the edge. I think he wins by unanimous decision, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover or he's not going to stop him. I just think it's going to be a good competitive fight, but you're going to see like the separation maybe, a little bit towards the end. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be good for TV.
Yeah. But to me, if Garcia is going to win this fight, he's going to probably have to win by KO, no? Or do you think, is there a pathway for him to win by decision? He's not really that great of a boxer to me.
He has a good left hook. I think he will have to stop him. I don't think he's going to win a 12-round decision. They're going to say, like, every round, like he won these many rounds. So I think it's going to have to be a stoppage or some knockdowns. Like, I think you have to knock Devin Haney down a couple of times.
All right, one last question, just real quick, because I know we got to go. 135 to 140. What's the one fight that you would like to see? I don't know if it's necessarily the most significant fight, but just a fight that you're like, I got to see these 2 guys get it down.
I wouldn't say one fight, but I would like to see them. I would like to see them do like a Super 6, like they did back in the day with Andre Ward. I would like to see Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank, and the what's the guy named?
Matias.
Matias. I like to see them all get together like gumbo. You know what I'm saying? And we could put Lomachenko in there, make 6. But we Super 6.
Yeah.
We could put like gumbo, put that all together and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
I think there's 6 of them that can
good fighters in there, and Pitbull. Pitbull, he gave Tank Davis his toughest fight, so I think you got to kind of throw him in.
And then he only had one hand too. Tank only had one hand. So, but I'm just saying, you put those 6.
But the thing is, Pitbull Cruz, they got a big head, so.
Yeah, but if you put those 6 in there, you know, and Pitbull could be number 7, but if you put those 6 in there, or Ryan Garcia can goes out and but if you put those 6 in there, and I want to see who comes up with the best strategy and who comes up victorious. Super 6.
All right, cool. That's all I got. You know, got to run, but man, it's been a blessing to.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Glad to get together.
Yeah, I got to get together.
Later.
Yeah, sooner than later,
Yeah.
and definitely want to interview some more of your fighters and hook up with you guys more often. So yeah, Fareed Samad, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayweather Boxing Club.